You're feeling free. Taking it in shapes and colors in my eyes.
Wow.
Can't keep up with the cars and traffic that viral life. Time moves slowly when you're outside. Why do we rush through the day just to meet the night? Strip and clean up the things I always see as me. They don't know what feelings like when you're feeling free. Strip and clean up the things I saw as the things that made me me.
Let's go.
Underneath I see now it was all a little sneaky.
That's smooth sax. Sit back, relax. That's Honors TV News. Get you what you need. More of that watered down nonsense. Kind of give you the news that you need to hear.
Strip and clean out the things I always see as me. They don't know.
Thank you so much for tuning into Honors TV News on this Tuesday evening with your host, Dante Smith, where we are serving up the nation's top news 5 days a week from Podbean Live. So do me a favor, go ahead, sit back, relax, as we serve up the most meaningful stories to keep you informed on your drive or just simply on the go. From cannabis news to our nation's top stories, we are gonna cover it all. Now, remember, join me 5 days a week from Podbean Live, and don't forget to comment, subscribe, and share, and let everyone know Honors TV News is live. Now, welcome. We normally have our co-host, MEJ. She probably will pop on sooner or later throughout the night. So we expect to hear from her and always enjoy what she has to add to the conversation. Now, really quick, let's do some really quick housekeeping here. Please, again, make sure you hit the follow button and share Honors TV News on Podbean. Also, remember, join Honors Radio every weekend from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. as we serve up some slow jams from the 70s up to the 2000s and bring back that romance to your weekend. As always, today we have a quote of the day: as a relationship without communication, well, it's just two people. Today is Tuesday, so we are taking call-ins today, and we would love to hear your opinion and thoughts on the stories of the day. Well, that's enough is enough. Let's get to today's top national news. A fraud and corruption case against former mayor Jacil Carrera kicked off in Boston's federal court, with the prosecutors seeking to portray the now 29-year-old as a simple con artist who simply stole from investors to bankroll his grand lifestyle and build his ambitious political career. Welcome, Lateef. We do appreciate you joining us in the live studio. Honors TV News really does appreciate you. Always go ahead and like, follow, and share Honors TV News. And let's continue on now. He was spending this money on adult entertainment, personal trainer, a helicopter, tour of historic mansions in Newport, Rhode Island. I mean, he was doing it all. Those were some of the things former young Massachusetts mayor who bought the money from investors who believed they were actually supporting the creation of a smartphone app. Now, Correa is charged with stealing about two-thirds of almost $400,000 he got from 7 investors for his app called Snow Owl. And now it was designed to help businesses connect to consumers. So I obviously see why it was something that people were looking to invest in. Makes total sense. Now, prosecutors say that as a mayor, Carrera also extorted hundreds of thousands of dollars from marijuana businesses seeking to operate in Fall River and forced his chief of staff to give him half of her salary in order to keep her job. This guy is a bad dude, a bad dude. He was 23 when he was doing this. It's the first high pressure trial to get underway in Boston in their federal court since the beginning of coronavirus pandemic. Now, Correa has denied any wrongdoing, of course, and slammed the case as an effort to bring down his political career. That's it, right? His defense attorney told jurors Carrera was working nonstop to make the app a success and never promised investors he wouldn't take a salary. So just he didn't tell them he was going to take a salary, but it's like an omission there, I guess. Now, as Mayor, Correa is accused of soliciting bribes from marijuana companies in exchange for letters of approval from the city that they needed to get a license. Now, 3 of Correa's associates who have previously pleaded guilty in that extortion scheme are among those who are expected to testify against them. So he's going down. He's already got people going against him right now. He's already got people that are rolled over. You know how snitches do. It doesn't take long. Now, for months after his arrest, Correa resisted calls to leave the office and survive the bizarre election in March of 2019, during which he was recalled by voters and reelected literally in the same exact night. Now, the federal agents arrested him a second time, this time for the extortion scheme. He agreed in October 2019 to take a leave of absence. So this case I will keep an eye out on. This is definitely an interesting case. This guy definitely was bold, very, very, very intelligent. Obviously, at 23 years old at the time, he definitely he knew he had some knowledge in order to pump fake these people out of their money. So it's definitely definitely a high level scheme. But he did get caught, as most criminals do, of course. Now, in other news, a devastating report now. Human rights experts call on international criminal courts prosecutors to open an immediate investigation. Now, excuse me, leading human rights lawyers from around the globe have found that systematic killing and maiming of unarmed African Americans by police amount to crimes against humanity that should be investigated and prosecuted under international law. Somebody's getting it. A week after the former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin was convicted of the murder in George Floyd's death, the relentless epidemic of police killings of Black men and women in the U.S. has now attracted scorching international attention. Now, in a devastating report, human rights experts from 11 countries hold the U.S. accountable for what they say is a long history of violations of international law that rise in some cases to the level of crimes against humanity. Now, it's getting so bad now that we can tell now the world is noticing. The world is seeing that we dying out here. And when I say we, I mean Black people. We're dying out here. Now, they also call on prosecutors of the International Criminal Court in The Hague to open an immediate investigation with a view to prosecutions. Now, Hina Jelani, which is one of the 12 commissioners who actually led the inquiry, told The Guardian this finding of crimes against humanity was not given lightly. We included it with a very clear mind. Now, violating its international human rights obligations, both in terms of laws governing policing and in the practices of law enforcement officers, including traffic stops who are targeting Black people and race based stop and frisk. The commissioners also charged that African Americans are frequently subjected to torture at the hands of police. They assert that the use of chokeholds and other violent restraints during arrest are equal to torture, which makes total sense to me. Also, which is a crime against humanity under international law. Now, Jelani, who is the president of the World Organization Against Torture, said that last week. Sorry about people on Instagram. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Said that last week, guilty verdict in the Floyd's killing substantiated the commission's views. Now, I'm delighted, honestly. I'm delighted that the issue of police brutality against Black people has now made it international. We need all the help we can get. Now, it's truly unclear. It's unclear how effective a tactic of crimes against humanity will be, especially because I believe the U.S. doesn't even recognize the International Criminal Court. At this point, it's hard to say anything will work, but giving up, as we know, is not. It's just not in our nature, and we're not going to start now. Now, we have a job as a society to try to understand and recognize each person's worth, regardless of color. Too many situations, too many tragic situations, not enough progress in eliminating this devilish element from law enforcement. Now, unarmed Black people are almost four times people, as likely as their white equivalents to be killed by the police. Since 2005, about 15,000 people have been killed by law enforcement at a rate of about 1,000 a year. And during that same period, only 104 police officers have been charged with murder or manslaughter in relation to these incidents. And of those, only 35 were convicted of any crime at all. Something's got to change, right? We have to find a solution for this madness because there's people waking up every day tired of hearing this atrocious news. And if internationally people are seeing that and they're going through their own trials and tribulations, believe it or not, but they see what we're going through out here. They see that we dying out here by the hands of the people that are supposed to be protecting us. What do we do? What's your suggestion? What do you have a suggestion for us? Because right now we are lost because right now we don't have any other options. Because a lot of us aren't going to lay down. It's unfortunate. In other news, just a real quick follow-up for us on that story we had about Tesla, which where there's the Model S vehicle was it crashed with individuals inside and they died. Now, a Tesla Model S that crashed and caught fire recently in Texas, I believe that was in Spring, Texas, killing two men, may have had someone in the driver's seat. Now, that's according to Tesla's top executive now. I'm sure they're biased in their opinion. I'm just going to go ahead and say that now. Their comments on Monday contradict statements made by local law enforcement in the immediate aftermath of the crash and could complicate the efforts by the federal crash investigators who are also examining the incident. And welcome to our live studio, MEJ. We do appreciate you joining us today. How you doing?
Oh,
MEJ, you there?
yeah, I had it on mute. Sorry.
I can barely hear you. You there?
Yeah.
Oh, there she is. How you doing today, MEJ?
Good. I had to come visit because you were talking about that Tesla story, and you know how I feel about the Teslas, and I just wanted to make a point that last time we talked about this, you said it wasn't safe. And now it is safe because it was not on autopilot.
Well, according to that is correct. According to what the Tesla model, the Tesla president is saying, yes, it wasn't on, and the person wasn't even actually subscribed to that full
Right.
to the full driver assist. Now that I'll take it back that it's not safe, but it's still a little bit. I would be a little bit wary now. Loris Murray, Tesla's vice president of vehicle engineering, said that the company representatives were able to inspect the crash, along with local law enforcement and investigators from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. So it looks like they all worked together, but for some reason they came up with two separate conclusions, which is interesting to me. Why do you think that is, MEJ?
Because I think that law enforcement is lying.
It's political. I mean,
Yeah.
they have something against Tesla, is what it is.
Yeah, they don't want me to have one.
They don't want you to have one. I agree. I don't want you to have one either. But if you do decide to get one,
I know
I
you'll
want you to
ride
be
in
safe, and I want you to get that subscription to get that subscription for the full auto driver assist, so that if you want to drive in the passenger seat, which is crazy to me, but you can do that. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Deal.
now all seatbelts post crash were found to be unbuckled, which is interesting because with Tesla's advanced driver assist system, it looks like they needed to be buckled in order for it to actually work correctly. So that's an interesting fact there as well. The crash did again take place on Saturday, April 17th in Spring, Texas. According to KHOU in Houston, investigators at the scene were 100% certain that no one was in the driver's seat at the time of the crash. And the two victims were identified as Everett Talbot, 69, and William Varner, 59, a prominent local anesthesiologist. Now, in the aftermath of the crash, Tesla CEO Elon Musk, of course, had to say something, claimed that data logs recovered so far indicate that the autopilot was not engaged, nor had the vehicle owner purchased the company's full self-driving option that may have allowed the use of autopilot on local roads. Now, I'm honestly glad that they cleared that up, and I look forward to getting more details as the investigation continues. So, MEJ, if you want a Tesla, you need to get the full self-driving feature. As I said, that's the big money.
Oh yeah, when I priced it out, I included that. So everybody stay tuned. Let's see this fall if I end up with my Tesla or not.
I will make a special episode if she decides to get a Tesla. It's probably not going to happen because she ain't about that life. She don't want that. She don't want it that bad.
We'll see.
Anyway, next up, Oklahoma, Montana, governor signed laws to restrict access to abortions. I bet no one even knew what was going on. This is some unreported information. Montana Governor Greg Giaforte signed into law 3 anti-abortion bills, including one that prevents an abortion of a fetus after 20 weeks of gestation. Now, the Republican governor of Oklahoma and Montana signed into law bills to restrict access to abortion. Governor Kevin Stitt of Oklahoma signed 3 bills that actually go into effect November 1st, including the state's version of the fetal heartbeat ban that prevents healthcare professionals at the risk of facing homicide charges from performing an abortion after a heartbeat is detectable. Now, Stitt also signed a bill that prevents any physician whatsoever, aside from a board-certified obstetrician or gynecologist, from performing abortions, as well as one that revokes a doctor's license if they perform an abortion that is not determined medically necessary to either prevent the death of the mother or prevent her from suffering substantial or irreversible physical impairment. So basically, they're not giving you any options in the matter at all. Now, Giaforte said in a tweet Monday, "Life is precious and ought to be protected," he added. "Today, I proudly signed into law bills to protect the life of our most vulnerable unborn." Now, Giaforte signed a second bill that also requires that those performing an abortion to offer the pregnant woman the opportunity to view an ultrasound and listen to the fetal heart tone of the fetus prior to having the procedure. And third, that restricts access to an abortion-inducing drugs. So you're going to basically what you're trying to do is you're going to traumatize an individual that has already made up their mind that they can't handle having a child at a particular age or in that particular junction of their lives. And you're going to let them listen to a heartbeat that is going to traumatize them in a horrific fashion, depending on the person. And you're gonna make them change their mind. That I'm not a fan of the decision because it truly limits the options for our young. I mean, it's extremely restricting. Such actions truly is it gonna make a difference? This particular type of action, or just cause more unhappy parents and less successful children because they decided that they didn't have an option in having a child at a particular age. They were forced to based off of the gestation period. What's your thoughts on that, Emmy J? Are you still on?
Do we have like a donkey sound for for this guy? If not, we need one.
Repeat that again.
I said, do you have a donkey sound for this guy? Because if not, you need one. Sound effect.
I don't have one yet, but I will be getting one soon.
Yeah, we need one for that. But it's an asinine decision to make. It's not going to stop abortions. It's just going to push them to back alleys and the deadly things that happened before. The whole reason we had Roe versus Wade was a woman's body is a woman's choice. I'm going to relate it, and this may be a little far fetched, but it's almost the same as people right now who don't want the COVID vaccine. You're being told, oh, you need to have this vaccine. You're going to have this if you want to work here or if you want to go there and do this. So the government is controlling what people can do with their bodies. And people are saying, no, that's not fair. That's against my constitutional rights to tell me what to do with my body. How is that any different than what legislators are trying to do to women by saying, no, you can't have an abortion. No, you can't have the drugs that would help it, or almost making them suffer to get it. They have to either be dying. So they have no problem telling you what to do as far as getting a vaccine, but government, it's all or nothing. You can't pick and choose which ones that are okay and which ones are not.
That is very true, and great. Thank you so much for that insight. That makes total sense to me. I was actually thinking the same exact thing. Now, to force someone basically to resort to more dangerous means is careless. And that's literally what this law will do is inevitably make individuals try to step outside the box and do things that they normally would not do or that are less safe as well. So I don't think it's a good look. But it is definitely something, and it is happening. It is absolutely happening in Oklahoma and Montana as we speak. Hopefully, this is not something that it begins to become nationwide, because there's obviously a lot of a negative points to this. Yeah, it's a troubling situation here. And now, next up, what we're going to do is the next part of the show. Obviously, is let's wrap. We're going to take a part of the show and we're going to throw just a couple rapid fire topics to discuss just the nonsense that has hit the news. And welcome to the studio, Tony. We do appreciate you joining the studio today. Honors TV News appreciates you joining us. And go ahead and share and follow us so you can always get that ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling whenever we are live. Again, that's 5 days a week from Podbean Live. Next up, again, we're having our special segment, which is Let's Wrap. Again, that's the rapid fire topics that we discuss, just nonsense that hits the news or some important topics. You never know what we're going to throw at you. But before we get to rapping, we'll be right back with more Honors TV News and your host, Dante Smith.
Credit firm, credit repair law firm. What's your goal? We are all looking for that next upgrade. Some want to buy a house, maybe a car, refinance their current mortgage, or simply improve your credit. Well, Credit Firm can help you achieve that goal. One of the oldest and most trusted credit repair companies in the nation, Credit Firm is now inviting you to improve your life by fixing your credit report and increasing your credit scores. Combining superior results, unparalleled customer service, and an affordable monthly payment, they guarantee the best credit repair experience for you. Offering a free credit consultation with a certified credit consultant, and each consult includes a review of your credit report and a step-by-step action plan indicating the necessary steps to improve your credit history. At creditfirm.net, their number one priority is your credit score. With 15 years of credit experience, Credit Firm's mission is to provide industry-leading credit repair and award-winning customer service at an affordable price. So when I say you can depend on Credit Firm to have your back through the entire process, all the way to the completion of your goal, I'm truly saying these are facts. So visit creditfirm.net and get moving onto the completion of your life's dream. I've added a link in the description to get you started.
And we are back with Honors TV News, and I am your host, Dante Smith. And that's right, it is. Yeah, it's time for our amazing segment. Let's rap. Let it happen, people. Emmy J is normally on here, so hopefully she'll pop on for us here. I know she is busy in there cooking dinner. Cooking dinner. But West Virginia, now, it's offering $100 savings bond to residents 16 to 35 who get vaccinated. Now, West Virginia is the next state to begin their bribery tactics in order to get these vaccinations done. What are you going to do with that? Offering $100 savings bond to those who get vaccinated. What is the percentage on a savings bond? Annual rate on percentage. It's not much. Now, the bribery level is it's crazy right now nationally. Ow. These dogs are crazy right now, man. They're just running up here, going crazy right now. Anyway, the plan was announced on Monday, and the money will come from the CARES Act relief fund issued back in 2020. Now, obviously, they're going to attribute this to good old Donald Trump, because this came from his relief fund. But this is not something that would make me want to go get a vaccination. $100 savings bond is nothing. And the bribery level is nonsense. They need to come with some facts. They need to come with some information that people like me and people like you maybe understand. There's a lot of people who have already got the vaccination that I know, and I'll hold you down until you turn into one of these raging monkeys or something like that. But I just don't have enough information, and as much as I read, there's nothing that's going to change my mind. So $100 is not going to do it. Emmy J, are you live? I'm sure she'll be back. She's probably cooking here, so we'll get her thoughts on that. Let's say she would take, if she didn't already get the vaccination, because she did already get the vaccination. She got that good old J&J, that Janssen that was good at one point, then bad, and now for some reason it's good again. So to believe what you want, people, but look at the facts before you make those moves. Emmy J in the studio making a funny face. She can't hear me making these comments about her.
I couldn't get back to unmute the mic because I was trying to make the smiley face. So, I hear you talking mess.
That's okay. Now, my question to you is, if you had not received the vaccination, would you have taken would $100 be incentive enough for you to get the vaccination?
If I was against it, no.
I mean, because this is $100 bond. This is a savings bond. This isn't cash.
Yeah, I don't know why they're instead of incentivize. There must be some reason that they can't just pay out cash like that. There's got to be something.
Because you're getting money from the CARES Act.
Right.
So why are you issuing savings bonds? I know you're thinking of, I know they're thinking of maybe future, but savings bonds don't increase by that much.
I know when I'm thinking of saving bonds, I think of my great grandma used to give them to us for Christmas when we were little kids. Like,
right, exactly.
it was supposed to be an investment in our future. And I think I had like maybe $5 or $10, $50 ones, and I ended up with like an extra of $10 in profit after 18 years. It wasn't
Fooled ya.
right.
Fooled ya.
I mean, I still got that money back she put into it, but as far as extra, it wasn't really anything exciting.
It's not, but that's okay.
Yeah.
At least they're trying something. I appreciate the effort, but however, most people are not going to fall for the okie doke.
Yeah, not if you weren't going to take it. You're not gonna. If you're convinced that you're risking your health, you're not gonna take that shot for $100 unless you're absolutely desperate.
And it's not even $100. It's a savings bond. Now you might get some people if it was $100 cash. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and get this $100 and get this vaccination and hope for the best. But a savings bond, I'm not sure that would equate to people getting out there and getting themselves a vaccination. Now, up next, New York City police on Sunday were searching for a man caught on camera repeatedly kicking a 61-year-old Asian man in the head during an attack in the city's East Harlem neighborhood. Now, security video cameras distributed by police showed a man hurling a Chinese immigrant, Yao Pan Ma, on the street last Friday and kicking him in the head at least 6 times before stopping away. Now, who was Nama, who was collecting, just minding his business, collecting recyclables when he was attacked, was in a medically induced coma and on a ventilator at the New York hospital Sunday with uncertain chances for survival. I'm not sure what's going on. CBS New York reporter, New York alone has seen a 450% increase in such crimes compared to the same period last year. All this anti-Asian hate crimes, I don't get it whatsoever. Last month, another man was caught on video stomping a 65-year-old Asian woman in the head in New York. So New York's going crazy right now. Now, Brandon Elliott, 38, was charged with 2 counts of assault as a hate crime and 1 count each for attempted assault as a hate crime, assault, and attempted assault in connection with the attack. Now, I'm so confused about where this misplaced anger towards the Asian community is coming from. When did we become enemies? I totally was not aware that we were in fact enemies with the Asian community.
It all started with coronavirus and President Trump's very insensitive comments calling it Kung flu and things like that.
But people, it's not even Trump followers. These are black people. These are black people stomping out Asians.
Maybe because they've had a bone to pick or something. They've lost a family member. Who knows what frame of mind these kind of people do when they do this kind of stuff. They obviously can't be mentally stable
at all.
Yeah, no one mentally stable is walking around kicking people in the head.
The cowards committing these crimes have to be mentally ill. I just refuse to believe that there's just these well-adjusted, high-functioning, hateful motherfuckers running around our country. But I always speak, about willful ignorance. So I guess it's time for me to take my own advice. I'm living a life of willful ignorance right now. Now, this is obviously happening, and there's people that's obviously committing these crimes based off of extreme hate and nothing else. They may not be mentally ill. They may just be hateful. It is absolutely possible. What needs to happen to this country to get back to a place of civility? And I don't even think we ever were at a place of civility. How do we get to a place of civility? Because most people, all they want to do is is live their life and feel safe in their environment. That's totally it. People come here to live the American dream, whatever that may be. Whatever your outlook of the American dream is, that's what people come here for. That's what people are raised in this environment to do, is to prosper. But you can't do that when you're getting beat down, shot down, killed. And we can't, as the Black community, do to others as they're doing to us, because that unfortunately will not get us anywhere at all. And that's 100% true. 100% true. Now, next up, the Senate on Thursday overwhelmingly passed an anti-Asian hate crime bill. So I wanted to kind of teeter into that. The legislation seeks to combat a surge in incidents of physical, verbal, and online attacks targeting the AAPI communities, particularly as many people blame the spread of the novel coronavirus on China, where it was first reported. I don't blame them, but get your facts. Now, the bill also directs state and local law enforcement to establish a method for hate crimes and incidents to be reported online in multiple languages, expand public education campaigns, and have a Secretary of Health and Human Services issue best practices and guidance to mitigate racially discriminatory language in describing the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, the Center for the Study of Hate and Extremism of California State University published a report that said anti-Asian hate crime in 16 of the United States' largest cities increased by 149% in 2020 compared to a year earlier, despite hate crimes declining overall by 7%. Perhaps soon we can get maybe an anti-Black hate crime bill. I mean, we dying out here, people. So maybe we can get one of those bills too. But you know, let's that I'm dreaming over here, right, people? I'm dreaming. Next up, with the mask mandate and guidance changing, as we all know, how are you feeling? How are you feeling about wearing your mask outdoors, even when you're vaccinated? What they did was differentiate between those who are fully vaccinated and those who aren't vaccinated at all. The change only allows the fully vaccinated to no longer wear masks outdoors if they choose to do so. Now, you or anyone as a vaccinated citizen, if anyone in the studio audience is a vaccinated citizen, by all means, call in. We'd like to speak with you and find out exactly how you feel about this particular topic. Now, MEJ, I know that you are as well. You're vaccinated. Thank you for being safe. We appreciate you. But what do you think about this?
I think that if I'm good not to wear my mask
See if we can
outside,
get-
I don't want to wear it.
Repeat that again for me.
I said if I don't have to wear my mask outside, I am not wearing it.
Oh, okay. Well, it sounds like you've already made your mind up in regards to
Well,
and to the
that's
updated.
why I got vaccinated, so that I did not feel the need to wear it out and about.
Okay, so what you got going, you don't have any fear whatsoever. You are basically secure with that vaccination, knowing that or thinking that it's potent as it actually is.
Well, not necessarily, but now I have less fear that if I were to contract it, I'm not going to be deathly ill from it, as some people are. Now, don't get me wrong, I still don't want to go to a big crowded bar and be drinking and, chopping it up with everybody without a
Right.
mask, or even with a mask. But if it's like an outdoor, I know some of the theme parks have started saying that you don't have to wear a mask if you're outdoors, only on the indoor rides. You need to be wearing things like that if you're vaccinated.
Okay, well, I understand your point of view. That makes total sense, and you're allowed to have that point of view because you're vaccinated. I don't have I don't have any point of view whatsoever with this. Now, I try to be as safe as possible. I'll make sure I go out with my mask until the time being comes where I'll need to actually get the vaccination. It is being fully vaccinated is going to allow you to be in small gatherings. You're able to have dinner with friends, even with non-vaccinated people. And masks still are recommended for concert type venues. So make sure if you are going to those, make sure you are playing it safe and you are masking up for your benefit and also for others as well, of course. Next up, we got our topic of the day. Uh, Is it okay not to like your partner? I mean, at least sometimes. We'll be right back with more Honors TV news in our topic of the day. And your host, Dante Smith.
Legacy Learning Systems Learn and Master. In the world of cheap, overhyped, learn this overnight instructional videos, Legacy nails it at every angle. Founded to produce truly comprehensive multimedia training courses for those who want serious instruction in the comfort of their homes. Legacy believes that learning should be fun, unintimidating, and systematic, with each new skill building on the previous one. Nearly all of us have that one thing we've always wanted to learn, maybe to sing, to dance, or even to play an instrument. Whatever it is, we all have something we wish we could do. A personal dream to even conquer. Well, Legacy Learning System now has learnandmaster.com, where their mission is to make difficult skills accessible through multimedia self-education courses and to bring your personal dreams within reach. Success starts with the first lesson laid out in the easy-to-follow step-by-step progression with everything you need in one place. Gone are the times you need to buy countless training videos from a patchwork of sources. Perhaps most importantly, you won't have to learn alone, as their online support community is an integral part of the learning process and free for all of their students. To get started on your Learn and Master lesson, click the link in the description to get started.
And we are back with Honors TV News and your host, Dante Smith. And yes, it's time for our topic of the day. And as I said, is it okay to not like your partner? At least not like them sometimes. Now, we're going to open up the phone lines for this topic today. If you'd like to put in your 2 cents, go ahead and click the call in button on your Podbean app and let's wrap. MEJ, I know you're on. Let's go ahead and make this discussion pop. Now, what do you think? Is it okay to not like your partner at least?
Yes.
Sometimes.
Yes.
Don't say that so quickly. Why do you think that is?
Well, just in my experience, sometimes you don't like certain things that your partner's doing. You don't like their attitude. You don't like, well, you think about it. When you spend all your time with one person, eventually you're going to bump heads. And while you may not, we're talking about that kind of, you're acting like a jerk right now. Means I don't like you or I don't like what you're doing. I'd rather not be looking at you right this second. But you can still love that person. So from my personal experience anyway, there's been several times where I don't like you. And I'm sure there's several times that you don't like me. Really? But
it's completely normal. That's
but
okay.
right. But I've never looked at you and said, oh, I don't love him.
And I've never said that either. It's completely normal to feel a mix of emotions towards your significant other. You do spend a ton of time with that individual. But remember, as we always know, too much negativity can affect the health of your relationship. So you definitely want to keep that to a minimum as much as possible. Now, I think frustration leads to not liking someone for a short time. I mean, there's times when I'm extremely frustrated. And it's bound to happen, especially in a committed relationship when two people actually care. The two individuals who have different thoughts and different suggestions, for that matter, it's going to cause some little conflict. And there's going to be times when I'm not going to like either what you say, or I'm just not going to like who you are at that moment. You may just be acting funny to me, but I, of course, still love you. But right now, I just don't like you. And I'm sure, like I said, we've all heard that before, right? I'm sure we've had somebody tell us that when we were acting an ass at some point or another.
I feel like we should normalize the fact that it's okay you shouldn't feel guilty because there's certain situations where you don't like somebody. And it can also go as parents and children. Now that you always love your children, that love is unconditional. But there are certain times where you just look at your child, they may be, acting up, teenagers especially, you may be like, man, I really don't like you today. Like if I had a choice today, we would not be friends. But
I'm
that
sure
doesn't
my mom had a lot of those
I'm
moments.
sure too. But at the same time, you as a parent never stop loving your child. You just don't
Absolutely.
like them in that moment, and that's okay. It's okay to feel that way, and you not have to feel guilty for it. I want to normalize things like that.
That makes total sense to me. I mean, I agree 100% with everything you said. People are going to do dumb shit. So not liking them is inevitable at some point. Uh, but don't get it twisted. Not liking someone is no way the same as not loving them. You can love, and my suggestion is, or my example is, you can love an enemy because of the past you may have shared, but not like them for their past actions as well. So you can have a whole lot of love for them, but not like them. That means I ain't fucking with you no more. But I still love you. We got love because of what we've been through.
Right.
But at this point, I can't. I don't like you. I don't like who you are. I don't like who you become. So I'm gonna bid you adieu.
And we don't want people to think that we're saying it's okay not to like your partner like all the time. You're fighting to, at each other's throats tooth and nail all the time in a toxic relationship. That's very much different than what we're
Absolutely.
talking about is just the occasional like, oh, you came home from work in a bad mood, so I'm like, ugh, I don't like you right now.
If you're in I hate that word, but in a toxic relationship, it's time to make a move. This is
Right.
not the conversation. This is not the conversation for you because you need to make bigger decisions in life to make sure that you're doing something better for your own life, because obviously that's number one. We only get one of those. Now, this conversation really leads me to my second question. Is friendship the main component to a successful relationship or marriage, or could other factors outweigh friendship, like love, duty, religion? I think going through life, obviously hard times, we all go through them. I'm thinking I'm going through it with my best friend, and we will make our moves accordingly. So every move we make is with the other's interests at heart, like best friends move. Now, but treating your love as a best friend, to me, can lead also to being taken for granted and feeling unappreciated, which also leads to a negative relationship experience for everybody. So the confusion lies: is best friends the way to go? And what advice would you give those who are building a relationship, or those who are struggling in their marriage?
Sorry, I was choking. So I agree. It's important to be friends with someone. So if you're finding yourself not liking your partner more than you do like them, that's definitely something you want to revisit. Obviously, they are not your friend. So to me, I have fun and I do things with my best friend. So I want my relationship to reflect that. Is it the most important thing to me? I don't know that. I would agree with friendship being the most important, but I think it's definitely an important aspect in a relationship because you want to be friends with someone that you're spending all your time with.
Right, right. I just worry about the. Um, I think because when you're treating someone as your best friend, um, best friends tend to have different levels, I guess. And if you're tending to treat your best friend as your significant other as your best friend entirely, then you're missing the emotional and the relationship part, or
You start to get
you're
more lax in what
right.
you're
You
doing.
get
Yeah.
laxed in what you're doing because it's your best friend. She'll understand, or he'll understand,
Right.
or he'll be okay with it, or she'll be okay with it. So I think it just it becomes a difficult situation, and then you're kind of a tightrope I'd love to get some more opinions on it. If anybody in the studio would like to go ahead and call in or just comment on the in the studio, we'd love to get your input as well. I do have that guy D86 still in the house. We do appreciate you joining us today at Honors TV News. And Tony, again, we do appreciate you joining us today for the first time. Do me a favor, go ahead and share and also follow Honors TV News because we are live 5 days a week from Podbean Live and always accepting call-ins to see exactly what you guys are feeling.
Yeah, just tap that call in button.
Go ahead and tap that call-in button and let us know your 2 cents. Let's see here now. We like to every day come up with the topic of the day of importance in order to touch basis on some important topics that relationships may go through or just personally people go through. We try to touch on those because there's a lot of outlets that aren't touching on it. So we want to make sure that we give focus to the important things that that create balance and create progress within relationships and marriages as well. So this is something huge. I believe Friday we'll be having a topic on stress. So that will be an interesting topic as well. I can't wait to get into that. Don't know the exact direction we're going to take it, but it's definitely going to be a huge, huge day for us here on Friday as we discuss stress on Honors TV News. Next up, we got Hemp Honors News, which will serve up the cannabis top news. We just have one special story today. So stay tuned, stick around. We'll be right back with Honors TV News and your host, Dante Smith.
Lawrence Taylor's Painmaster CBD Cream, 1,000 milligrams, is the ultimate in post-workout and fitness support skin lotions. With high-quality CBD sourced from industrial hemp, you get natural support in a strong formula intended for those already demanding more. A topical application of CBD, LT Painmaster CBD Cream goes to work right on contact. Lawrence Taylor Painmaster CBD Cream will quickly become an essential part of your most grueling workout, fitness, or sports schedule. To grab your bottle, click the link in the description.
Okay, we're into the end, ladies and gentlemen. We almost to the end. We hemp news. All the finest news. Nationwide, we gonna take you worldwide. Hemp news. And we are back with Honors TV News. And now it is time for just a quick segment on hemp news. Now, the new House bill would actually make cannabis businesses eligible for federal small business aid. Now that is awesome, man. Let's get an applause real quick. Because they need it. They need it. These are legitimate businesses. Now, lawmakers in the U.S. House of Representatives have introduced 3 new bills to make state legal marijuana businesses eligible for federal small business services, including loans, disaster relief, and grant programs. Now, the package of legislation is aimed to establishing parity for cannabis businesses, which are currently prohibited from receiving federal aid due to marijuana still being classified as a stupid Schedule I controlled substance. Now, the country's legal cannabis industry, nevertheless, now supports nearly 320,000 full-time jobs in the U.S. That is a substantial amount and only growing. One bill sponsored by House Small Business Committee Chairwoman Nadia Velasquez would allow marijuana businesses to access resources from the Federal Small Business Administration. Now, the Ensuring Safe Capital Access for All Small Business Act of 2021. And yes, that is a mouthful. Let me repeat that again for you. The Ensuring Safe Capital Access for All Small Business Act of 2021. Geez, I think they could have came up with something a little bit smoother for the tongue, right? They would expand access to services such as microloans, disaster assistance, and agency loans guarantee programs. Another newly refiled measure, HR 2649, sponsored by Representative Dwight Evans, would establish a U.S. Small Business Administration grant program to provide funding to state and local governments to help them navigate the licensing process for cannabis businesses. And that process is strenuous. So if you've ever taken a look to see about getting licensed, it they want they want everything from you. They want your firstborn son. Now, the bill, which also removes marijuana from the Controlled Substance Act, which we need to do, they should have done that long ago, specifies that the grant money should be used to benefit communities disproportionately impacted by the drug war. Now, we all know that has been the standard when it comes to passing any of these laws across the country, trying to give back to disproportionately affected communities, such as the Black communities, who are really taken for basically a roller coaster, with the bulk of us being locked up in prison for marijuana charges and silliness like that. Now, a third bill, HR 2649 from Representative Jared Golden in Maine, would prohibit SBA partners that provide guidance and training services from denying help to businesses solely because of the involvement in cannabis. Now, the changes would affect providers such as SBA Small Business Development Centers, Women's Business Centers, and the Veterans Business Outreach Centers, among others. Representative Golden said our continued economic recovery depends on the health of American small businesses of all kinds, adding, especially in this environment, no Maine small business owner should be turned away from crucial SBA programs that could help them create jobs and lift up the economy. A majority of those in every age, race, and political demographic included in the poll said they feel marijuana should be legal in some form, although many Republicans remain wary of adult use legalization. 72% of Democrats favored both medical and adult use legislation, compared only to 47% of Republicans. Well, it has been an amazing night, amazing Tuesday, and we really, really appreciate you joining us here today at Honors TV News. But as always, that is going to be it for us today at Honors TV News with your host, Dante Smith. And thank you so much for joining us today, our co-host, Emmy J. We appreciate you popping in. I know you have a busy schedule, but you helped us serve up the nation's top news on Podbean Live. Remember, people, comment, share, and subscribe, and help us build Honors TV News from the ground on up. And remember, we now have a patrons only section for our listeners who would like to become a part of the Honors TV News family and donate to keep our operation running smoothly and our content fresh and informative. Our patrons level starts at $1 all the way up to $25 each, with its own special features and rewards. To become a patron, just go ahead and click that Become a Patron button, and whoop, whoop, voila, you are now a partner of Honors TV News, and you are part of the family. And you have helped us serve up the nation's top news that you care to hear. Join us again Wednesday at 7:30 Central Standard Time as me, myself, Dante Smith, and maybe even a little bit of Emmy J joins us in studio to discuss more of the nation's top silliness and top news. Join us every Saturday, again, Saturday and Sunday night, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. for our Slow Jams night, where we're bringing romance back to your weekend. Don't forget to share and subscribe to Honors TV News, and have a blessed day. And we are out. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. You could have been anywhere, but you were here with us tonight. All those who stayed to the end, go ahead and send me a message, and I'm going to shoot you a $10 gift card to Diamond CBD. Also, don't forget to use honors as your promo code on diamondcbd.com. That's going to get you an immediate 65% off. Again, that promo code is honor. Thank you for joining, people.